Hello and welcome to another fun-filled nonsense retrospective. I'm your host as always, Rick, and joining me equally as always is Devon.
Just for the benefit of my voice box, just assume I'm screaming this at the top of my lungs. Kenobi! I was trying to
I mean, you can always do the volume boost in post.
I don't want to hurt people's ears.
And yeah, if that's not tipped you off, then we're talking about Obi-Wan Kenobi today. But before we get into that, let's get into our time-honored tradition of the nonsense asinine hypotheticals. And do you have one for me today?
You're not allowed to use any character that's appeared in, let's say, the main 9 films, even though I don't really care for the sequels, but whatever.
Sure.
Who is your favourite Sith of all time?
Favourite Sith? I mean, it's probably got to be Darth Revan, because A, you get to play as him, and or her, and B, in games where they're not available as the player character, they're held up in very high regard as basically the linchpin of things that are happening now and have been happening for the past few hundred years.
Is it Revan or Nihilus that ate a planet?
Nihilus ate a planet, Vitiate ate a planet and everyone on it and became immortal because of it.
Okay.
Vitiate is the one that became the Sith Emperor that's the Emperor in the Old Republic MMO, and Nihilus was a jobber.
Even though he ate a planet?
Yeah, he ate a planet and then you just kill him in like 2 minutes and then you take his mask off and he's just a dude.
That's a shame. His mask's cool.
Yeah, that's basically his entire character arc is his mask.
So what you're saying is, if it was a proper MMO, he'd be a raid boss and everyone would be rolling need on that mask for their glamour.
Yeah. And you'd see like 50% of the population would just be wearing the mask and the other 50% would be non-Force users.
That's one of the things that does bum me out a bit about MMOs, is you're like, I want this one particular headpiece because it looks cool, and then everyone wears it, so you're like, well, fuck, there's no point in wearing it now.
Yeah.
Not to be a hipster, it's just if everyone wears it, what's the fucking point?
Yeah, even if it's difficult to get, it becomes the try-hard uniform.
True, but eh.
But yeah. So mine is Darth Revan.
Yeah, fair
And so my one for you is you start a cult. What is the goal of your cult?
To destroy Christianity. The purpose of the cult is to be as... I'll make a sex cult, fuck it. I don't really care for cults. I think they're dumb because they're just religion, but obviously made up. Like, I'm not saying religion isn't made up, because it is, but I think the actual technical legal definition that changes cult to a religion is the founder of said cult has to be dead.
Okay.
I think that's the technical definition, so that's like why Scientology gets away on a technicality. And Mormons as well. But yeah, it's one of those where cults are just religions waiting for their leader to die so they can get official status and not pay tax.
Ooh, boy, yeah.
So yeah, sex cult, so everyone can have fun.
Yeah, as long as it's consensual, yeah.
18 only, and we say what we are on the tin, but when you join up.
18 only?
18 or over.
Yeah. I thought so, and I hope so.
18 or over. Fuck it, 21 or over, because I think 18's too young to join a sex cult. We'll say on the tin when you sign up, this is what you got to do. If you sign up, you do have to come to church on Saturday, and you do have to be in the orgy ball. I'm sorry.
Yep, you have to come at church.
Yeah. We're like snakes. We just make the big old orgy ball, and what happens. It's all consensual. You signed a waiver. If you want to leave, that's fine. You have to bake cookies and say, sorry, this is no longer for me, and then we're good.
Yep, and your membership fees go towards air conditioning because it gets warm in the orgy ball.
Oh, God, yeah. And we have to get union card carrying members of a certain branch of cleaners, because we really want people to be careful when they're cleaning up the jism. Because that wouldn't be a pleasant job. We wouldn't make our cultists do that. We'd get outside help with export, as it were.
Yeah.
Not export,
slip in it and crack your head.
Oh God! They just walk into church and it smells of cum, and you're like, oh no, it's the Catholics again.
But yeah, we're talking about the Obi-Wan Kenobi miniseries that's just finished on Disney+. And suffice to say that hopes were high for this. Like, I personally thought that of all of the Star Wars miniseries that we have had and are coming, this is going to be the one that everyone really wants.
Yeah, I agree. I also thought this.
Go ahead.
I was just agreeing with you.
Okay, yeah. And so, we open on part 1. we start with a recap of the prequels, and after that's done, we see Obi working as a meat packer, and he steals from him every day to feed to his space camel.
Yeah, but they're not getting paid fair wages, so fuck them.
Yeah. Yeah, we see that guy at the end as well, and he's fucking everyone else up as well, like a prick. The Inquisitors come to town. We see our main villain, Reva, and some others. The Grand Inquisitor does the most in this episode that he'll ever do in the entire series. He's quiet, he's condescending, he's in control, he establishes the feel of the Inquisition, and then he fades from importance.
He really does. And I just want to talk about the Inquisitors for 2 seconds.
Sure.
Their sabers are cool.
Yes, they are.
I've never said they're not. However, I believe you have the same viewpoint as me, Rick. I think it's really, 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 really fucking stupid how in the animation they use them as little helicopters.
Yeah, it's fucking daft.
And I'm so glad they didn't do that in the live action show, because it would have looked even worse.
Like, I can see it working.
No.
No. Here's the thing. I can't see them escaping in them. I can see them doing a jump, doing the spin, making it look like a helicopter, but all it is an intimidation tactic while they bear down on you and then do a plunging attack.
But it doesn't look intimidating. It looks silly.
Yeah.
Right? Anyway, I just wanted to get that off my chest. Like, their lightsabers are cool. Don't use them as helicopters.
Yeah, the fifth brother is one of the ones from the show who also appears here. He's from Clone Wars as well, isn't he? He's from Rebels, ain't he? And obviously the Grand Inquisitor was also in Rebels. We know that they are going to live.
Okay,
because Rebels takes place after this.
Let's put this on the fucking cards on the table right here, right now. One of the big problems with this show, and it was a problem from the get-go that I kind of knew was going to be a problem because we knew it was going to be Vader versus Obi-Wan again, and that was far too many characters in this are protected.
Oh, yeah. So many people are just protected by canon. We know that, yeah, you can put them through the ringer, but they're not going to die.
Well, even that, like, no, they can't lose limbs even, which is a staple of Star Wars. If you don't like people getting their arms cut off, I've got some bad news for you. It's Star Wars.
Yeah, Stump Wars, even. Vader can, because he's more machine than man, and he can just get it replaced.
Yeah, sure, but, like, it happens really early on in episode 3 with Obi-Wan and Vader's first encounter. We're going to jump around a bit, but that's fine. It's weird, isn't it? Because he runs him through fire, and it's like, yeah, of course Anakin's going to want to do this. He wants some payback. But there's no permanent damage, and there can't be permanent damage. We've seen episode 4.
Like, they try and handwave it by putting him in a bacta tank just straight after that, but, like, yeah, you would probably have at least some burns from that.
It's very baffling. Anyway, we'll get to that when we get to it, I suppose. But yeah, the first thing I want to actually talk about with episode 1, I know we just briefly touched on the Inquisitor's appearance, is, and I said this after we watched the episodes, Rick, of, I really did like the swerve.
Yeah. So, this is coming from us having seen the trailers. The trailers show it as being a Obi-Wan versus the Grand Inquisitor and looking after Luke.
Yeah.
Turns out Luke is not important at all.
No.
Although, shout out to Owen. Because while he's openly hostile to Ben, he throws the gift for Luke back in his face, but he's also able to bear his nerves of steel against Reva's interrogation.
Yeah, that's kind of twofold, though, because one, he's not a narc, and two, like, he's seen firsthand what these types of people are like. He lives on Tatooine, and not the nicest part of Tatooine. If you yield once, they'll expect you to yield again and again and again.
Yeah.
So you got to give credit where credit's due. Yeah, he did stand his ground, but he also knows in the back of his mind, if he gives an inch to these people, they'll expect a mile.
Yeah, he lives on a flyover planet, like... Yeah, people just walk all over you if you show any kind of concessions.
I love that, a flyover planet, and yet it's the planet where everything fucking happens.
Yeah. I had a gag early on, like back when the prequels were new, that the quality of a Star Wars film is inversely proportional to the amount of Tatooine in it. Meaning that obviously Empire Strikes Back, which has the least Tatooine in it, is the best.
Do they go to Tatooine and Jedi?
Yeah, they start on Tatooine. It's got this
palace. Yeah, it's very easy to forget that's on Tatooine.
Yeah. and of the prequels, the one that's got the best one of the prequels is obviously Revenge of the Sith, and that has the least Tatooine in it.
Yeah.
You just go there at the end to drop Luke off.
Yeah.
But yeah, we cut to Alderaan with Kid Leia, who's meant to be 10, looks more like she's 6. She's being a little Lisa.
Look, the only reason why I know she's 10 is because we're told explicitly that this happens 9 years before New Hope.
Yeah.
That's the only reason we know that's the age she's meant to be.
And she gets eventually kidnapped by a dude in a t-shirt and a leather jacket.
Apparently played by Flea.
Okay.
According to my brother. I don't know if that's true, didn't look it up, I didn't really care, but that's what I've been told.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
But yeah, on to part 2.
Definitely less interesting than part 1.
Yeah, Bail Organa comes and chats up Obi and says, yeah, go and do this, and after a bit of umming and ahhing, he finally goes. He finds Leia on a smuggler planet after a little bit of difficulty. He's pointed by a drug dealer to a con man posing as a Jedi, and the drug dealer is actually Ewan McGregor's daughter.
Yep.
The Inquisitors are here too, because, it's Disney. They're openly chastising Reva for her ambition and haste.
Yeah, even though that's exactly the fucking characteristics a Sith needs.
Oh, yeah. Like, literally weaponized ambition. Like, that's their core thing, is weaponized ambition.
And just for a bit of context, because I didn't know this, and it puts the Inquisitors in a better standing in my eye, in that you got the whole rule of 2, there can only be 2 Sith and all that bullshit, which has never been fucking followed very rigorously, but whatever. The thing with Inquisitors is, the idea of them existing, at least for Sidious's means, is if any of them actually get strong enough to take on Vader and dethrone him, that's a win-win for him.
Yeah, so he counts them as not Sith.
Yeah.
But obviously they are. Like,
yeah.
Like, by doctrine, they do everything Sith ways, but, like, technically, they're not Sith, and therefore, you can have as many of them as you like. Which, is meant to be the whole problem with there being lots of Sith, because they're always at each other's throats, and they will eventually kill each other.
Yeah.
And that's the whole point of the rule of 2, is so that there's not 10 apprentices who can band together and kill the strongest one.
Yeah, but Sidious is immortal. We know this from the sequels.
Yeah. Team Good Guy does finally get away, but it's not before Reva taunts Obi-Wan with the knowledge that Anakin is still alive.
Yeah, which was a bit baffling to me, a bit of a shock, because I assumed Obi-Wan knew this.
Yeah, like, he has the Force.
Yeah.
It's significant that she knows who Vader really was.
Yeah, except it also isn't, because anyone who watched the beginning with the new additional youngling sequence, it's like, oh, that character has some similarities to Reva.
Yeah.
And, we all know that Inquisitors, or not all of them, but 9/10 of them used to be fucking younglings anyway, so...
Or at least Jedi, in some way.
True, but they're usually quite young. They're usually like, oh, I was so-and-so's apprentice, and it's like, oh my god! That sort of shit.
Yeah. I think the Grand Inquisitor is the only exception, because he was he was a temple guard, wasn't he?
I can't remember his specific rules. I don't really like him as a character. He's rather bland.
Yeah, fair enough. And she gut stabs the Grand Inquisitor and blames it on Kenobi when Vader asks about it, I assume. And
I don't think even Vader asks about it. I think it's the other 2 Inquisitors, and she's like, Kenobi did it. It was literally Bart.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was very... There was a brief second of shock, and then I was like, hang on a minute, Yeah,
like, we know he survives.
Yeah.
Like, don't play this card with us, Disney, we know. But yeah, then we get to episode 3, Freck the Mole Man.
Do you know who played him?
That was Zach Braff, wasn't it?
It was Zach Braff.
Yeah, I only found this out from TV Tropes, so thank you, TV Tropes.
I got it from some fucker boasting on YouTube, on Twitter, going,
Okay.
I bet you don't know who and I didn't know that. You don't need to be such a smarmy shit about it. Do you know what I mean? That type of person.
Yeah. So yeah, he's a mole man. He's real nice to Leia and Obi-Wan. He picks them up in his pickup truck.
You say that, but like immediately you get bad vibes from this dude.
Yeah. He's talking about how a little bit of order is all well and good, and it's nice to have the Imperials lining our pockets for a change and all that. And then in the same jovial tone, within the same breath as much as he wants, he sells them out to the Imperials.
To be fair, he doesn't quite sell them out. He's just like, hey, do you want to check these guys over? Like, there's very little distinction, but I think the distinction needs to be made.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, he says like, yeah, these 2 are a little bit weird. You might want to check them out.
Mm-hmm. I did like the moment where Obi-Wan is the one to slip up the facade.
Yeah, he's shit. He's shit at it. His deception is negative. Yeah, he says, "Shut up, Leia," and then Leia's like basically kicking him in the leg, and he goes, "Oh, yeah, that was her mother's name. Yeah. She reminds me so much of her."
Yeah, and we get the first glimpses of I wouldn't say Leia being Force sensitive, but Leia being perceptive, because
supernaturally insightful.
Yeah, from that one interaction, she was able to guess that, oh, this motherfucker did know my mother.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then we get that really awkward but kind of sweet moment where Leia is like, "Are you my dad?" It's like, no. God, I wish I was, but I'm not.
Now, apparently there was a lot of backlash from that line on the internet where people are saying this implies that Obi-Wan had a crush on Padme, and like, I didn't think of it that way at all. I think it was just a case of, yeah, he wishes that he could have been there for Leia and Luke as a father figure.
Yeah, I think it's certainly meant to be, well, my own interpretation is, I wish that I was your father instead of the actual reality of your father being Darth Vader and killing your mother. Not that, oh, I wish I fucking hit that, you know? Because that's so not Obi-Wan, you know?
Oh, no. Plus, you know, his bird is...
Satine.
Yeah.
And she's fucking gone.
Bo-Katan's sister, yeah. She's super gone.
Oh, that was fucking heart-wrenching, that moment.
Yeah. But yeah, the Inquisitors come now. Oh no, there's a little bit more. They get rescued by Tala.
Yeah.
She's the Imperial officer who had a heel realization when she turned families over to the Inquisition in the past. And since then, she's been working for the Path and smuggling Jedi, or not even Jedi, just Force-sensitive children out to, like, safe places.
Can we go rewind for 1 second? Because something really funny did tickle me.
Go ahead.
Where, can't remember if it was Reva or the Grand Inquisitor or Darth Vader. One of the baddies said something along the lines of, all you got to do is kick up a bit of fuss because Jedi can't help but help people. And then we just cut to Yoda chilling on Dagobah, not giving a fuck.
Oh, it was like in episode 1, the Grand Inquisitor's like, it's in their nature.
And he's not wrong.
Do something stupid and threaten someone's life, and it makes a Jedi just spring from the woodwork. He's a moment away from being Bane in my impression of him. I apologize. And yeah, he I think, was it Reva that chucks a knife at a guy?
Yeah, it sounds like shit she'd do. Because I remember Grand Inquisitor I can't remember if it was him or Fifth Brother who just got really pissed saying, "You don't, no."
Yeah, I think it's normally the Fifth Brother that gets pissed at her, because he wants to posture that he's going to be next in line, and but that does reveal that there is a Jedi in the bar at the time. So, you know, Reva gets what she wants. Grand Inquisitor gets what he wants.
Yeah. It's one of those really weird things where, like, the Grand Inquisitor is also correct, because as much as I'm giving Yoda shit, because I will, because Yoda is a bit of a shit, bless him, like, the only reason why I think Obi-Wan and Yoda avoided that trap is because they don't hang out with people.
Yeah.
They've literally isolated themselves. Like, Obi-Wan's being a bit cheeky with the job that he's got, but at the same time, motherfucker's got to eat.
Yeah, totally. But yeah, the Inquisitors now appear. Vader steals their thunder like the drama queen that he is. He does casual murders left and right to draw out Obi-Wan, just because of exactly what you just said.
Yeah.
And then we get to duel time, and Kenobi gets schooled.
It's a weird one, isn't it? Because Obi-Wan's not dueling. Obi-Wan's running for his fucking life.
Yes.
And
he's covering for the others as well.
Exactly. Like, even if they had a mega showdown on the scale of Mustafar, it wouldn't actually be for a benefit, because again, it's meant to be a distraction. And the way this ends is really ground my fucking gears when I watched it, so let's fucking lay it out. And it's actually doubled down how much I dislike this, because they did it so fucking right when they did it again in episode 6.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
But in this one, when they ended, it's like, yeah, rubbing Obi-Wan in the fire, burn, motherfucker, burn. Yeah, that makes sense. What doesn't make sense is how the conflict ends, because Anakin's like, stormtroopers, pick him up and bring him to my ship. And I'm like, no. I think if anything, what Anakin would have done here would have been, I'm going to leave you to burn now, because that's what you did to me. Because he doesn't know Tala's there. He doesn't know there's someone there to help. He fucks off with his stormtroopers, and then Tala comes down and helps. That's how I think it should have gone down. But instead, we get what we got, and it was just kind of a mess and didn't make much sense on either side. Yeah,
I feel you. Like, it would have been very brutal, but yeah, just leaving him to burn.
But isn't that something Anakin would absolutely fucking, he'd get such a hate boner for? That's so up his fucking alley.
Yeah, totally. Like, I've got it in my notes that he gets schooled by a disappointed Vader who simply toys with him, but in Vader fashion, it's not gentle.
Yeah, I think if you look carefully, Vader is even overconfident, because I think he duels Obi with one hand in this fight.
He starts the episode 6 duel with one hand as well.
There you go. Because we've said it before, because we've done lots of Star Wars stuff. If Vader's using one hand, he's not taking you seriously. And they fucking up that to the 9th degree in episode 5 when he fights someone no-handed, but we'll get there when we get there.
Yeah. And Reva kidnaps Leia.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that was bad. Just another fucking shout-out, by the way. I didn't actually realise this until a bit later, because I thought the reason why Hayden Christensen Christensen got brought onto the project was because we were going to get a load of flashbacks. No, he's playing Vader in the suit.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's what I've been told. Well, word from Ewan McGregor says that Hayden Christensen was in the suit, which, fair fucks to him. I'll give him all the credit in the world, because if I didn't know any better, and I do, I'd have said it was Prowse again.
I mean, Prowse is just the voice, really, isn't he? Oh, no, that's Jim Jr., sorry. Wait, it'd be a very different feel if he was the voice. Prowse was the body man, and he passed away a couple of years ago now. Yeah, a few years ago. The Green Cross Code man as well, yeah. Oh, there's another mini note from this episode. Obi-Wan mentions flashes of his pre-temple life and memory. He includes that he maybe had a brother.
Which was cut content from like episode 6, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was in the novelization that it was mentioned that he had visions of Owen and just assumed that Owen was his brother.
Weird, but okay.
And when we were watching this live, my dad says, does he really have a brother? I said, yeah, Obi-2 Kenobi. And he went, really? I said, no.
To be fair, though, if you're excited and you're really into it and you make a joke like that, I can see it going over someone's head.
Yeah. Obi-2 Kenobi. But yeah, well, now we get to the second half of the series. Episode 4, Obi-Wan rescuing Leia. It's not without some sacrifices from the path. Tala has the metaphorical balls of steel, waltzing into the Inquisitorial fortress with some half-truths and intimidation rolls, and she guides Obi-Wan through the complex as best as she can.
I will say this, I get it, it's for the benefit of the people watching and not what's actually happening in universe, but her just talking so casually to Obi on the communicator when there's another fucking officer 2 seats down is fucking ridiculous. Now, again, I get it, it's a trope in TV where they're not actually speaking in that volume or so-and-so, but she'd have to be talking fucking quietly with someone that close to her.
Yeah, either that or the room is a lot louder than it's shown to be on camera, you know?
Yeah, absolutely, man, but it just really grinds my gears because they could make it a bit, just sit the fucker a bit further away.
Yeah. Or have her shoot him.
That being said, she does manage to fucking kill someone without that motherfucker noticing, so maybe he's just an idiot.
Yeah. Or maybe he's like one of those enhanced robot people who just gets like super focused on something, like Lobot from Empire Strikes Back.
Or he is the most relatable dude in the world where he's just like, I just want to go home at the end of my day, I don't give a shit, please don't look at me the wrong way, Obi-Wan? Nah, I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm here for a paycheck.
Yeah.
It's one of those like, if you see someone stealing food, no you didn't.
He's playing Gallagher. No, oh dude, man, you bringing that up, the amount of times, I work retail, guys, in case I haven't brought that up enough times in the podcast, but the amount of times random customers come up to me and go, oh, I saw so-and-so stuffing such and such in their pockets, and I'm like, oh, okay, I will deal with that immediately. As soon as the customer who told me walks out of eye shot, I'm like, I'm not doing shit. I don't get paid enough to fucking confront shoplifters, and even if I did, it's a lollipop. I don't care, it's 20p.
Yeah.
I work for a chain, not a mum and pop store. I don't give a fuck. Give me my paycheck, I want to go home.
And the chain will have spent less than like a third of that on the raw materials, as it were.
Oh, don't even get me started. We have security guards, and we've had a couple of good ones, but lately we've had a string of really shit ones, because they're all old men who don't give a shit and just want their paycheck, which I respect, but they're not doing much good for the shop. Yeah,
all they're there is to be there, so people aren't quite as brazen as to walk out with 28 bottles or something with a security tag on, you know?
Rick, they look like I can outrun them.
Yeah.
I look like I can outrun them.
Yeah, fair enough.
I am not a healthy man. Or at least I don't look like a healthy man, I'll put it that way. So, yeah, I don't have the makings of a varsity athlete, as the Sopranos might say. But yeah, where were we? Episode 4.
Yeah. So Reva Yeah, she does. She interrupts interrogating, torturing Leia to deal with Tala's distraction.
I was absolutely convinced this was the episode we were losing Tala.
Yeah, totally. Like, she even starts force choking her, and then she basically just says between breaths that she can catch that, yes, of course, I'm a spy. How do you think I infiltrated the path? Which, you know, it's a half-truth, and it's exactly what she's been doing this entire time.
If I was a DM, I'd have needed a natural 20 for that.
Yeah.
I do like how, though, Reva's not a fucking idiot, in that she goes, you might be telling the truth, so I'm not going to kill you right now, but I don't believe you yet. Yeah.
It's a very good stance for an actual Inquisitor to take.
Yeah. Because it's not beyond the realm of reason that they have someone on the inside.
Yeah, totally. And yeah, at this point, Kenobi rescues Leia.
We get to see him do the first fucking cool lightsaber shit in the series, because I don't count episode 3, because he was running for his fucking life.
Yeah. This is the first time he's actually been good with the lightsaber. The lights are off, the blade comes on, a stormtrooper goes down. This happens again, and then the room is clear.
He looked like Clone Wars Kenobi.
Yeah, totally. And this is like the one moment where we realize he's back.
Yeah, we as viewers, we know he's not quite back, but yeah. Something I always take note of whenever I watch Kenobi in action in anything is I always pay attention as to who ignites first.
Yeah.
And, yeah, it's always interesting, because basically, if you want to know how pissed off Kenobi is, if he turns his lightsaber on first, you're fucked.
Yeah. Which, spoiler, in episode 6, he does.
Yeah, he also does it with his final conflict with Maul in Rebels. Which, hey, guess what? That ended one particular way.
Yeah, it was like a 3-second fight, which...
It was so fucking samurai. Oh, I forget the motherfucker's name, but the go-to director for samurai movies. It was so fucking that.
Yeah.
They do it, they borrow his style again in Mandalorian Season 2 when you see Ahsoka fighting the governess, or what the fuck she's called.
Yeah.
It's very samurai, and I'd live for that shit.
But yeah, when they're escaping, 2 snowspeeders come to help, and one of them leaves.
Before that...
Oh, what's before that?
They're underwater, and we get the crack scene where Obi-Wan shows that his force is still not quite up to snuff, but not so useless that he can't use it.
Yeah, so, when they're escaping, Kenobi's got Leia. This is where they meet up with Tala again, isn't it?
Yeah.
And, they're running through these underwater tunnels, which are glass on all sides, pretty much. And yeah, one of them gets cracked by... Was it cracked by a shark or something running into it?
No, it was literally a bolter, because Obi-Wan's doing his cool fucking deflecting shit, but he's not able to pay attention because he's too busy trying to stop Leia from getting shot.
Yeah, and one of the stray bolts goes into the glass. Yeah, and this happens more than once as well, I believe.
That's what actually causes it to become unstable, is that it happens several times, not just the one. One time you're like, oh fuck, be careful, Obi, and then oh fuck, you fuck, bro.
Yep. And yeah, they drown all of the stormtroopers.
Yeah. And then we get the dumbest fucking scene ever, where we see Obi-Wan in an extra long cowl, and he's got fucking Leia on his leg, and it looks like he's deformed, because how else does that make sense?
Yeah. It's like an attempt was made at a disguise.
Yeah, like I get it, they ain't got a lot to work with, but fuck, man. Anyway, surprisingly, it didn't work.
No. But yeah, snowspeeders come. 2 come, 1 leave. They are allowed to leave.
I feel like they wanted you to care more about the person who died, but I didn't give a shit. I barely knew them.
Yeah, this person showed up at the beginning of the episode and was gone by the end of it.
Yeah.
It's implied that during the interrogation between Reva and Leia, before it turned to drugs, was when she was pissing about with Lola. That's when this thing got put on her, the restraining bolt that turns Lola evil.
I mean, yeah, to be fair, we did see Lola very explicitly get taken off of Leia.
Yeah.
So it's really...
They got given back, yeah.
It's fine storytelling, like, I've got no issues with that one.
Yeah, so now Lola is evil in the final moments of that episode and is tracking them all.
I like that. Evil!
Yeah. I have now been turned to the side of evil.
Yeah. Reva nearly gets choked the fuck out at the end of this episode, don't she?
Yeah, with, wasn't it the statement of, you were told what failure would earn you or something?
Yeah, something along those lines. And she manages to choke out the tracker information, and Vader goes like, fine, fuck it. You're still worth a damn. Like, if she'd given the tracker to someone else to look after, she probably would have got fucked there and then.
Yeah, totally.
Oh, okay, and we're about the whole that's staying in. That's what I do when I cut usually, guys. But I feel like we haven't touched it. It's a bit of an elephant in the room, so I'll touch it here and now. I'm so sick and tired of people picking on Star Wars actors.
Yeah.
And in this series in particular, they seem to have picked on Reva for some fucking reason. Well, I say some fucking reason. There's a good portion of it that's just plain racism. There's no nice way of putting it.
Yeah, there's 2 reasons why they don't like her. And one of them is because her, and the other is because she's a black actress.
Oh, it fucking sucks, bro, because, like, if they didn't like her because her acting was crap, fine. But even then, don't hurl abuse on her. And also, like, her acting's fine. There's no issues with it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Go on.
Exactly. I didn't have any issues with the acting. She brought the driven energy to the character that the script needed.
Well, this is going to sound really weird now, because what I will say is I fucking hated the character, but that's because you're meant to.
Oh, yeah. You're not meant to enjoy the person, although it normally is the kind of thing that you love to hate them, you know?
In this, I was just like, oh, fuck. I cannot wait for her to fight Kenobi and get her ass handed to her. And then that didn't fucking happen.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, like I think I don't know if I'd watch a miniseries dedicated to them, but if they like propped up as like an additional character in other things as a fun Easter egg, I wouldn't be opposed. I'll put it that way. Spoiler alert: she survives. Just saying. Anyway, fuck you, Star Wars fan base.
Yeah, fan base in inverted commas, because the actual fans don't want those people here.
Yeah. Well, it's the old adage of back in the 70s and the 80s of you're in a punk bar, and a fucking skinhead comes in and he starts talking about Nazi shit, and you're just like, oh well, he pays for beer, so who gives a fuck? We'll ignore him. And then more of his friends start turning up, and then more, and then it's no longer a punk bar, it's a Nazi bar. I'm just saying, if you don't deal with it when it crops up, you're gonna get known for that. You're gonna get fucking painted with the same paintbrush. Don't tolerate it. Not even if you think it's some kind of joke, because it's a really fucking shitty thing to joke about if you even treat it that way. Anyway, moral high ground aside, shall we move on?
Yeah, episode 5. Reva now has the, in inverted commas, title of Grand Inquisitor. She tracks down all the refugees and holds them under siege.
Yeah.
Tala has her heroic sacrifice moment to hold them off.
Yeah, it sucked.
And this is when Kenobi realizes that Reva's inner rage isn't at him, and she wants to use him as bait for Vader.
Yeah.
So they reach an uneasy truce that she might get her shot in, but Vader's seen right through this since day 0.
Yes, but no. No to the specifics, yes to the general idea of, she wants to kill me. That's great. That's what Inquisitors are for.
Yeah. So in hilariously one-sided Vader power trip later, she's humiliated, beaten, and gut stabbed.
I want to say this right now. I've seen some behind-the-scene footage of Hayden Christensen and the actress for Reva rehearsing the fight scene.
Okay.
And, oh my god, it must be so fucking difficult to act like you're being influenced by something that doesn't exist. Because the actress for Reva does a fucking bang-up job. I thought she was being manipulated by some invisible force the entire fight scene.
Yeah. It's absolutely is good acting there. One that always springs to my mind is when Scarlet Witch was being filmed. Everyone else has their actual props, and all she has to do is make some oodie-doodie voodoo gesticulations, because everything else gets added in as a special effect.
There must have been some takes where she just wasn't taking it seriously and was just fucking around, and I bet some of them slipped into the films. But yeah, I'll give out a shout out to that. But the other thing I want to mention, because we glossed over it, because it's the very first thing that happens in this episode, is what I wanted from the Kenobi series, which is flashbacks to Obi-Wan and Anakin.
Yeah. So we get the flashback duel between Anakin and Obi-Wan in like some temple or other. I assume the temple.
It looked like it was on Coruscant to me.
Yeah, and Anakin, surprisingly enough, wins.
Yeah.
And
I think it's very important to note that something they did kind of get right is Anakin has always been a superior duelist. Obi-Wan's just better at looking at the big picture.
Yeah.
Like, one of the reasons why Obi-Wan won on Mustafar isn't because he was better than Anakin in a fight, because he's actually not, but because he was looking at his environment the entire fucking time and using it.
Yeah.
And they covered it well, absolutely perfectly in this episode, where Anakin's just thinking of winning, and the easiest way to win is to overpower, beat your opponent. Because he can do that. That's his skill set.
Yeah. And in a spherical goblins in a vacuum arena, that's where he shines the best.
Yeah.
But yeah, the real Grand Inquisitor drops back in, takes his badge,
to the surprise of fucking nobody,
with the statement of rage and revenge is a hell of an anesthetic, isn't it?
Yeah, and it really fucking bugs me, because it's just like, oh cool, this is the exact same thing that's gonna happen to Reva, isn't it? Oh, yep, got stabbed. So she survives, crippled and forgotten, while Vader advances on the escape transport. He pulls it down with the Force, tears it open, only for the real transport to take off from outside the hangar. Yeah, man, Obi-Wan is a tactician at the end of the day. He knew Anakin had his eye on the fucking ball, but the ball was the wrong ball.
Yeah, general versus general. Reva has survived. She finds Obi-Wan's comlink.
Okay.
With a voicemail. Yeah.
And this is the part which I fucking did not like about episode 6, in that I got no issue with the character, so to speak, because the character's a really good foil, and I'll be honest with you, the face turn isn't the worst one in the world. I don't 100% think it should have been as smooth as it was, but whatever, that's a different issue. Everything she does in episode 6 did not need to happen. It added nothing to the story.
Oh, totally. I thought that too.
All it did was slow down the thing everyone wanted to see.
Yeah, we had to cut away from it to see the thing that we didn't give a shit about.
Because there's no stakes. There's nothing that can happen here. Owen can't can't die, Beru can't die, they get burnt by stormtroopers.
Yep.
Luke can't fucking die, and he certainly can't see a lightsaber because, you know...
Yeah, it has to be new and interesting the first time he sees one.
Like, fuck, there's so many constrictions, why would you put this as part of the story?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
So yeah, Bail Organa has doxed Owen Lars.
Yeah. That's a great way of putting it, fuck.
Yeah, thanks to this voicemail. Fuck you, Bail. Yeah, he's worried, but... then, so we get to the finale. So this is the only episode that I've seen twice.
It's... Okay. I'll put it to this way. Fuck, I've really fucked that up, but I'll put it this way, guys. Up until episode 6, I was very firmly whelmed by this series. If episode 6 didn't exist, I'd say the series was a failure, in my opinion. I didn't think anything they did was particularly mind-blowing or, you know, worth showing on screen. But it built up to this.
Yep. Kenobi ditching the shuttle. He ditches it to lure Vader away to not to Tatooine, to a nameless planet.
Before that, he does give Leia the blaster holster, and I did fucking find it hilarious when Leia said a holster, and Obi-Wan's like, Leia, you're 10, I'm not giving you a blaster.
Yeah. Although it does end up where Lola lives afterwards.
So
which is kind of cute. Yeah.
Say again, I didn't hear what you said.
It's where Lola ends up living later on when they get reunited at the end.
Makes sense.
So yeah, there's a final goodbye to Leia and Haji the con man.
Yeah.
Who, to his credit, has stuck with us all this time.
I mean, one of the moving moments in episode 5 is how I've pretended to be a Jedi for so long, maybe I can kind of be one. And Obi-Wan's like, he doesn't say yeah, but it's just like, you're doing good. That's what matters.
Yeah, like, you're not a Jedi, but you're exactly what they need.
Yeah. I mean, according to his own words, he's helped a fair few Jedi, so...
Yeah, even though he's taken a cut, you know, he has ferried them off.
I think it is also one of those things where you have to, if you're on a crime world, you have to do that shit, because if you're not taking a cut, it's like, for one, you'll get abused, 2, that's suspicious.
Yeah, you're immediately a mark if you're not playing to the regular rules.
Exactly. And actually, seeing as we're briefly touching on it, I did like the little nod of a clone trooper potentially recognizing Kenobi but keeping his fucking mouth shut.
Yeah,
in episode
he was
2.
He was a 501st as well, so that would have been Vader's personal legion.
Yeah, until they until the thing.
Yeah. The Grand Inquisitor thinks it's a stupid idea to follow Kenobi, but he doesn't, commandeer the Star Destroyer to pursue the transport while Vader goes down for a fight in the shuttle.
Because if he fucked up even slightly, he knows it's death.
Yeah.
The Grand Inquisitor, at the very least, knows his own skill level, because if he thought he could take Vader, he'd try, because that's how the Inquisitors work.
Yeah. The fight begins to happen. As you say, Kenobi is the first one to have his lightsaber on with the same line that he had at the end of, the beginning of the duel at the end of Revenge of the Sith, which was, I will do what I must.
And then we get Vader going, then you will die.
Yep. Vader does start to win, although he does note that Kenobi's strength has returned.
Yeah, there's a very clear point where Vader stops fucking around and starts not dual wielding, but double grip.
Yeah, two-handing. Yeah, it's just before the first cut to Reva.
Yeah, but they will not talk about that, duel. Shall we? We got to. It's a fucking podcast. I just didn't see the goddamn point. I forget. It was Obi-Wan who managed to somehow get a message to Lars to give him. No, it wasn't. No. They just fucking worked that out by some dude they knew in town going, "Yo, by the way, shit's fucked." Yeah,
because Owen and Luke are in town trying to pick up a new belt sander or something.
Yeah,
and some dude just comes by and says, "Yeah, there's been this lady looking for you. Maybe hunker down." So they do, and Beru just refuses to get anyone else's help because she doesn't want anyone else to die, and she refuses to leave the house because they're the safest there. Any number of things that could avoid this confrontation just by being out in the desert in the car for a day.
Again, it's just so pointless. Okay, the point of it is at the end of it, Reva decides not to kill Luke because Luke's not Anakin, and also she's not Anakin because she doesn't kill kids. It's like, that's the whole point of this conflict, which is like, there's many ways you can do this without dragging Luke in. I assume they dragged Luke in because they needed the audience to have some personal stake, but there is no personal stake. Nothing can happen to him.
Yeah, totally.
It's like when Legolas fights in The Hobbit. Like, well, no point. Who gives a fucking shit? Legolas can't die. He needs to be in Lord of the Rings.
Yeah. But there's the duel basically ends when Vader does some Full Metal Alchemist shit, puts his hand on the ground and then makes a crevasse appear.
Okay.
And then buries Kenobi alive.
Yeah. Now this is what I'm talking about. The fact that he does this in episode 6 means that someone on the writing team knew how Vader would be. It's like, cool, he's more or less confined to either a slow death if he's not dead already, so I'm gonna leave.
Yeah.
Because that's what he did. He left me to die, so now I'm gonna leave him to die. So why the fuck did they fuck it up 3 episodes ago?
Because everyone else was watching and they had 3 episodes to go.
But that's just it. He didn't need the stormtroopers. The stormtroopers didn't add anything. Vader was trying to do this on his own. Leave Obi-Wan in the fire for a little bit, and then Tala comes out of the fucking woodwork and saves him because Vader doesn't know he's getting help.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, they fucked up in episode 3.
Yeah. So here's the thing. All throughout this episode, whenever I heard the James Earl Jones line, I just imagined the Hayden Christensen line as well.
Oh.
At the same time. So I'd always imagine the things that he was saying as being said by Hayden Christensen at the same time. Because it's very easy to imagine his voice because we've heard it very recently as well, haven't we?
Yeah. Well, last episode.
Things like, are you here to destroy me, Obi-Wan? It couldn't be very easily heard in either voice, you know?
Yeah. Oh, but by the way, someone fucking uploaded the flashback scene with, I de-aged Hayden Christensen. I'm like, okay, that's kind of cool, but it doesn't need it, bro.
No.
I get it. Hayden Christensen does not look like he looked 20 years ago. No one fucking does. But he's not an old man. It's not like Luke. No offense to Mark Hamill.
No, absolutely. But yeah, Kenobi finally gets his resolve back, bursts out of the pit. Isn't this when he's got the threat of Luke being killed as well?
No, he doesn't know about that yet.
He doesn't know about that just yet, does he? No.
And Darth Vader definitely doesn't know about it.
Oh, Vader definitely doesn't know about it. Yeah. He gets his mojo back again, and he comes back at full force.
I can't remember if he does his trademark stance at this bit or if he does it straight at the beginning, where he's got his arm out and the fucking saber pointed.
Oh yeah, that's right at the beginning. That's the I will do what I must bit.
I fucking love that so much. It's so iconic. Which is why, by the way, that fucking duel against Maul is so fucking interesting, because he does that and then immediately changes to Qui-Gon's stance.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, sorry, I digress. Watch that fucking episode of Rebels.
I saw it on a plane.
It's good.
And it just so happened to be the most recent episode at the time as well, which is the weirdest thing.
I don't really like Rebels' art style, but it's surprisingly good.
Yes. The good bits of Rebels are fantastic.
Yeah.
The crap bits of Rebels are that there are a lot of filler bits.
Looking at you, Ezra.
Just the main character.
I'm sorry. At the beginning, he's very shit, but that's the same with most protagonists.
Yeah,
Fuck's sake.
The first couple of seasons, yeah.
Ahsoka wasn't very interesting when she got first introduced. In fact, most of the fan base fucking hated her, and people seem to have forgotten that.
Yeah. People hated Ahsoka when she was new, and it just took until she had a lot of character development for people to just be on her side completely. But yeah, it's during the second part of the duel that Obi-Wan strikes a not quite killing blow, but a disabling blow that sunders the helmet, and it gives us the cool dual-layer voice lines from Vader as James Earl Jones modulated and the Hayden Christensen original voice at the same time.
I don't know about you, Rick, but I got such Revenge of the Sith flashbacks from this one moment, and I felt actual proper sympathy for Anakin.
Yeah, like specifically for Anakin as well, because this is the part where Vader states that Anakin is no more. Vader is all that remains. Obi-Wan didn't kill Anakin. I did.
It's one of those where there has been years of self-reflection.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, as powerful as he is with the Force, Anakin cannot turn back time.
No. And this is the part where he still believes, because he has no evidence to the contrary, that he's the one that killed Padme.
It's true.
And so that was basically his last straw, that Palpatine just went, yeah, in your anger you killed her, and that's when he's lost his last shred of wanting to remain the man that he was and just embracing the monster that he's become.
One of my favourite goddamn facts is that when he's told that news, Anakin doesn't actually say no, he just screams in pain and agony, but the computer does not know how to translate that, so it just goes no, and that's why he's saying no in such a weird way during that reveal.
Okay, I can see that one, yeah.
It's so interesting how you got all these fucking details that are so cool and interesting, but they're never fucking told or showed to you in the film, so you just gotta fucking dig to find it.
Yeah, because here's the thing, you never hear, obviously Vader isn't the type to do a laugh. laugh. So you never hear Vader do an evil laugh. You really don't hear him do a growl or a roar or anything. Everything that he says is a word. I
think the only time we've ever heard him come close is when he gets struck by someone with a lightsaber. He just sometimes go, oh, but in that really weird way, you know?
Yeah, I think when he gets his hand cut off by Luke, he goes, ah!
Yeah. Ah, bastard! That's all I can fit. Ah!
Ah, you bastard! You burnt me. Oh man. But yeah, he this is the state that that Kenobi leaves Vader beaten. He rushes to the Lars home.
Before we get to the Lars bit, because again, I fucking hate that entire half of the episode. That's actually closer to a quarter, but whatever. Just because it serves no purpose. Anyway, sorry, I digress. When Obi-Wan walked away, my big thought was, oh my god, he couldn't do it again. This is the second time he could have fucking ended it, and he didn't. I understand why. It's one of Obi-Wan's character flaws, but it's just like, fuck, man. It was you were supposed to end it.
He even told Yoda, send me to fight the Emperor. I can't kill Anakin. And yeah, this is twice that this has happened. 3 times if you count A New Hope. And,
I don't. I count that as a Vader win.
Oh yeah, totally.
That's Obi-Wan going, fuck, I can win this fight or I can help the others escape. I'll help the others escape. That's not him being unable to kill Vader. Although that being said, I don't think he'd be able to kill Vader even then.
No. Those the years had not treated Obi-Wan well at that point.
Well, so, also not because necessarily because he's physically incapable. As we've seen, he's mentally incapable. Anyway, sorry, I digress.
He was like the series began with a broken man, and we're just reassembling the hero that we remember. And even then, he's still not whole. He's not the perfect being that people seem to think he is. But yeah, Reva has come for a cordial visit to the 2 farmers, and 2 farmers beat off a prospective Sith Lord.
It's very weird.
Yep.
The only reason why they had such upper hand is because of meta reasons.
Yeah, they. I think the thing that does the most damage is punching her in the stomach with a piece of metal, which is where she was stabbed by a lightsaber, but they don't know that.
Yeah.
And yeah, they fight admirably.
Yeah.
But she's chased Luke into the nearby canyon.
Yeah.
He gets knocked unconscious by falling.
Yep.
And that's when she has her final heel realization, when she has a flashback to looking at Luke and then remembering that she herself looked like that at one point.
Well, sort of. It's weird, isn't it? Because Luke's knocked out. He doesn't have any fear in that moment because he doesn't know what's happening. But yeah, I get you. What she actually remembers is the look on Anakin's face.
Yes. And yeah, she the next we see her, she's carrying him back unconscious. And this is when Kenobi's already arrived.
It's so unnecessary, man.
Yeah. And that's one of the things that I don't like about this series is I saw it more in this series than any of the other ones that Disney have done, but it's the very definite Disney brand of, oh, and then this person was there.
Yeah.
Which, between different planets, it's a real jarring thing. Because it's implied that certain things take a certain amount of time in the original trilogy.
Yeah. Well, like, Luke doesn't just suddenly go from Dagobah to fucking, not Alderaan, fucking Cloud City.
Yeah, Bespin, yeah.
He fucks off from Dagobah, and then we get a bunch of shit that's happening in Cloud City.
Yeah.
And then...
Yeah, they're being kept captive there for a long time.
Yeah, when Luke eventually turns up, it's after all the shit's happened. But we see all the shit that happens. It's implied that Reva chasing down Luke is occurring the exact same time as the duel between Darth and Obi.
Yes,
exactly. So, unless that's not true...
Like, it can't be true, but, I think the idea is that the Reva thing happens, like, a lot later, so that when Obi appears, it's the right time.
But they don't make that clear is the problem.
Yeah, they should have made it more clear. Like, the reason that they cut from one to the other is for our suspense, but it makes a lot less sense when it's being presented as being concurrent,
Well, let's go to the fucking prequels, yeah? Right? Every time they cut between events, they're happening at the same time.
Yeah. When they're cutting between them, definitely.
Episode 1, Duel of the Fates, at the same time. Amidala in the Palace, at the same time. Gungan War, Clone Wars, Count Dooku versus Anakin and Obi-Wan while Yoda's doing the fucking evacuation. Oh, by the way, here's R2-D2 and C-3PO playing in the sand. And, of course, Revenge of the Sith, the big old duel between Obi-Wan and Anakin. Oh, at the same time, Sidious and Yoda.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense to intersplice action scenes that aren't occurring at the same time.
Yeah, I know, right?
Anyway.
So, it's one thing that's it really did rear its ugly head during this more than any other, and that's one it kind of bugged me, but oh well.
But on the bright side, we get a silver lining. Everything after the Reva stuff is done is pure fan service.
Yeah, we get a proper goodbye to Leia.
Yeah, and she's dressed as we know and love her.
Yeah, the good old Princess Leia costume.
Oh, damn, I was so happy. I was smiling like an idiot.
Yeah. And we get the good old... we do get the bit where Obi-Wan says, okay, I said I didn't know your father or your mother, but here are the qualities that they had that you've inherited, so make of this what you will.
Yeah.
Like, she knows he's been full of shit the entire time.
Yeah. Something to be said as well is they did manage to cement something a little bit, and that is Leia is Anakin's child.
Yes.
Out of Luke and Leia is more like Anakin.
Yeah, and Luke is probably more like Padme.
Absolutely, and I love it. It's good.
Yeah. It's a real cute little inversion, you know.
It's a point they need to hammer home more.
Yeah, totally. And Lola gets to sit in the holster now that Obi's brought her back, because Leia sent Lola with him at the beginning of the episode as a child manipulation tactic of I'm going to give you this thing, so you have to come home safe and give me it back.
Sure is a good thing that Darth didn't fucking kill Obi and then find that.
Yeah. Oh yes.
But yeah, the next thing we got, which I wasn't expecting to make me so happy, was, I'm sorry, I forget the actor's name, but I'm sure you'll tell me it in a second. We get to see Sidious.
Oh yeah, Ian McDiarmid, yeah.
Yeah, we get to see him. It's so nice to see him still doing the role.
Yeah. And he does the thing of, I wonder if your thoughts on this matter are clear, Lord Vader. Which is a thing I think he's said multiple times in the past, and it's always a good time to hear this.
Yeah.
Because it's basically Sidious going, are you going to betray me, you little bitch?
Wow. He's right to be concerned. It's what Sith do.
Well, that's the thing. Sidious wants him to betray him because he wants the Sith thing to go ahead. It's just he knows that he won't, which is kind of a disappointment.
Well, he's got the Inquisitors.
Yeah, here's the thing. Vader is quite happy to be number 2, and he's a very big number 2. And Sidious...
Poor choice of phrase, but okay.
Okay. And Sidious isn't happy that the Sith have become constipated because of him. But yeah, the last one we get... Oh, okay. Another thing is, did you notice that as the camera zooms out on Vader's throne room, it looks like his face?
I didn't notice that. I just assumed it looked like Vader's fortress, like it normally looks. Didn't?
Yeah. So from the inside, the throne room that he's in looks like his face.
That is something that motherfucker would do.
Yeah. So you got the two bits of the window that are bisected by the fact that he's sat in the middle, which look like his eyes, and then the staircase is like triangular shaped, so it looks like his mouth grill.
That's fair. I honestly didn't catch that.
But yeah, that's something that I thought it wasn't perfect, but it looked like it was designed that way.
Well, I cannot say loudly enough how melodramatic Anakin is.
Yeah. Absolute drama queen.
There's a time where he's floating himself down on top of a TIE fighter to make a dramatic entrance, and his cloak is billowing in the wind. They are currently in space. There is no wind. He's using the Force to do it. I'm just saying, it's something that motherfucker would do. Like, even the fucking hallway scene that we love from Rogue One, it starts with no lights on. Anakin had to turn off his life support to be dramatic.
Yes.
Which is something that motherfucker would do.
Yep. And the next thing we see is canonically the first Obi-Wan and Luke meeting.
Hello there.
Yeah, he ends the meeting with the classic line of "Hello there."
Yes, something that people tend to forget. That yes, it's a lot funnier and memeable in Revenge of the Sith. However, that is also how Alec Guinness introduced himself the first time he was on screen in A New Hope.
Yeah, totally. Unless you count the Crate Dragon scream.
I don't. That's not talking.
You shouldn't. No.
If you count that, you're an anorak.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just love it. It's a little thing. And yeah, it was mainly put in probably for the memes, because the people behind this sort of thing, like, oh, it's meme material, we gotta throw it in. But disregarding that, it's like, yeah, that's fucking Alec Guinness.
Yeah. And the series could have ended there and had a mic drop.
Yeah.
But they have one more scene.
Okay, I gotta be honest with you. I was chomping at the bit the entire time we were watching it because we get Qui-Gon mentioned so many times, or rather, more times than none. And also, we saw in countless interviews that Liam Neeson said, if they want me in it, I will say yes. So I was just chomping at the bit to see, are we going to see Qui-Gon's Force Ghost? And we do, and he's a troll.
Yeah, he is.
It's like, took you long enough, and it's like, yeah, becoming a Force Ghost just kind of makes you a dick.
Yeah, so it would seem, yeah. And it's one of those, like, I get it. Like, the whole point is that he's not been able to see Qui-Gon until now because he's not been at peace.
Yeah.
And it's only after he's both said goodbye to Leia and said hello to Luke that he's finally at peace. And also, the real big one is having the guilt taken away from him that he's not the one that killed Anakin, as it were.
Yeah, it's a weird one, that.
And, oh yeah, the other thing is when Obi-Wan says goodbye to Anakin, it's a farewell, Darth.
Yeah, which, by the way, means farewell, Master.
Yeah.
But whatever. We've got to bear in mind, actually, that Obi-Wan might actually not know that.
Yeah, it's like, goodbye, Sith Lord.
Like,
see you later, Sith Lords.
Because he does it in A New Hope as well. He goes, only a Master of Evil, Darth, which technically means only a Master of Evil, Master.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, Obi-Wan's a good boy Jedi. He might actually be ignorant on that regard.
It's entirely possible. But it's one of those, like, they've found so many Darths that it's assumed that they know what it means.
Yeah, but
by the same token, they don't use their Sith names for the greatest point.
He calls Maul Maul.
Yeah. Well, by the time he gets to it just being Maul, he has discarded his Sith name.
And of course, we've got Asajj Ventress, who isn't called Darth. Darth Tyrannus has always been known as Count Dooku to the Jedi, so that's what they call him. So again, it's not beyond the realm of possibilities that Obi-Wan just doesn't know Darth isn't a name.
Yeah, and Sidious, he's only been called Lord Sidious by the Separatists.
Right.
And obviously Emperor Palpatine by everyone else. So
true.
Yeah, it's plausible that they only know Darth Vader as Darth Vader because he's the only one that goes around with the name.
Yeah, well, at least for Obi-Wan. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, fair enough. Plus, there's the second point of it was the only film that there was at the time, and it was assumed that was his first name.
Well, again, they made it Lucas wrote the fucking dialogue, man.
Yeah, true. But yeah, it ends with Liam Neeson saying, "Yeah, we've got a lot to cover. Come into this canyon. Bring your space camel. Let's go."
Apparently, Ewan McGregor really liked that camel.
Yeah. Apparently,
he was actually contemplating just buying it.
Oh.
According to like a Twitter post, so, not the word of God. It was an excerpt taken from an interview, but I don't have a source on the direct interview, so take that with a massive grain of salt.
Yeah, fair enough. That would be really cute, though.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it for the series. Now I think it's time for us to get down into our final three. So, out of the entire series so far, do you have a favourite moment?
Darth Vader versus Obi-Wan, Episode 6.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's a big long thing. Yeah.
If I had to narrow it down, like, because it really did tug at my heartstrings, was if you want me to narrow it down even further, is once that fucking final blow is struck and you've got the speech from half-broken mask Darth Vader.
Yeah. I think the entire series was like gearing up for that one moment.
Yeah. But it's not fair for me to just tell mine, although I suspect yours will be at least from the same series of events. But yeah, what's your favourite moment?
There's a honourable mention to the one that you just said, because it's probably my number 2, but my number 1 favourite is back from episode 4, the lightsaber in the dark.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's, like I say, that's the cementing point of, he's back. And like you say, he's not at full strength now, but this is when he's decided to be the Jedi Master again.
But to be fair, in that one moment, it's like, you fuck up, Leia's fucked.
Yeah.
Can we also just take a moment to fucking realise that, oh, by the way, Reva was going to put a fucking interrogation droid on Leia.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, she was going to, like, drug and torture a 10-year-old.
Which, we know she was able to resist it a little bit at 19, but at 10, no fucking chance.
No. But then again, at 10, she doesn't know that much.
No, but the problem is, it doesn't matter what you know, it matters what your interrogator thinks you know. It's been proven time and time again that torture doesn't work. Torture just gets people to say what you want them to say.
Yeah. Like, so if you want a false confession under false pretenses, torture is a way to get it.
Like, you don't even need to torture properly. It's not a very nice thing to talk about, but if you really want someone to do something immediately, waterboard them for 7 seconds.
Yeah.
And they will do whatever you want.
Mm-hmm.
Don't ask me why I know that. And that's not me trying to be fucking edgy or nothing. I've read a lot of articles and they all suck.
Yeah, let's not then. So, we can't all talk about the good, we have to talk about the bad. Do you have a weakest link?
Reva off episode 5. It didn't need to be there.
Okay.
They could have shown her skulking off, so it's like, yeah, no, she's still alive. We don't know where or why or what she's up to, but It took away from the final episode being quite interesting and fun. And that's not to say that Reva's a bad character. It's just, again, in that last episode, there is literally zero stakes.
It might have had more effect if they'd have shown her being stabbed and, in inverted commas, dying, and then shown her just as a nameless nobody in a hood in a nowhere town as a stinger for the end of episode 6, you know?
Nah, you can't put that after the Qui-Gon reveal.
Fair enough.
But yeah, it's that. Although it's just an extension of it. Everything building up to episode 6 was just
Yeah, I get you. But
yeah, what about you?
For me, it's gotta be the so-called fans. Like, Moses Ingram did not deserve the amount of hate that she got, and it's just sheer vitriol that I wish you could just put back in those people's faces, you know?
Unfortunately, it's not the way the world works. It's very annoying because it's a phenomenon that I first saw in the Game of Thrones days when people were hating on the Joffrey actor because Joffrey is such a little turd. Fuck you for playing this character. You're a piece of shit. I hate you. I hope you die. And it's like, oh, okay, you do know that's not real, right? And the problem is it's 10 times worse in this occasion because we also have the racists.
Yeah.
And it sucks to admit because I don't think any fundamentally good person will sit there and go, nah, it's fine. It's not.
No, it's not. Like, there's been a lot of discourse, specifically recently, about how Star Wars is, like, people saying, oh, Star Wars is a Christian story. Anakin is Jesus and all that. No.
No, people who said that as a joke to take the piss.
Yeah. Oh, but also people are actually just literally claiming it as, like, they're claiming it as Christian to claim it as their own.
But it also doesn't, just rewinding back a little bit, even that doesn't make sense, because Anakin being Jesus Christ, okay, so Jesus Christ is evil? Is that what you're saying? I'm confused. I get it, the miraculous conception, but I've always maintained that that's just something Shmi said because she was embarrassed.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think Shmi doesn't know who the father is, or rather, she probably has a suspicion. Or perhaps this is very topical considering what's happening in America, perhaps the encounter was not wanted.
Maybe.
Just saying. You wouldn't exactly want to admit that to a stranger, would you?
No.
But I digress. Star Wars isn't about politics, guys. You're supposed to say, did you watch the first 3 movies?
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
or any of the first 6 movies, because it's a rebellion against an in-power empire.
They even say, like, one of the actual establishing shots of, like, the only mention of the Emperor in episode 4 is how they talk about the Emperor has now dissolved the Senate and has seized absolute power, and they're just talking about that around a coffee table. And they said, I think this is the same scene where Vader comes and chokes a bitch at a work meeting, so there is that.
But Star Wars ain't about politics. It's also not. It's also not politics to have a black person in the fucking show.
Oh no!
Do you know what I mean?
It's human. Like, she's a human being. Like, black people are human beings. Like, this doesn't need to be said, or it shouldn't need to be said. Like, if you have human beings in your show, you should have the entire Dulux chart.
Bit of a crass way of putting it, but sure.
I'm just exasperated with this narrow-minded, coffee cream coloured viewpoint that certain people seem to have of what normal is, when that's not normal, that's narrow.
I've got to kind of ponder, did people put up as much of a stink when Lando Calrissian got introduced in 5?
I've no idea. I wasn't alive back then.
Nah, it'd be an interesting thing to Google, because it's kind of fucked up if people are more tolerant, were more tolerant back in the 80s.
Yeah. Oh boy. Oh man.
Anyway, I think we've waffled a bit long, but it's something that needs to be said. Stop being a fucking dick.
Yeah. So, last one. Who was your MVP?
Hayden Christensen.
Alrighty.
He came back for it, and learning that he was the one in the Vader suit, he did a good job. He did his fucking homework. That's Darth Vader. Very close runner-up will be, I'm sorry, I don't know the actress's name, but the Reva actress.
Moses Ingram, yeah.
Yeah, she did great, especially in her fucking fight scenes. The choreography was mwah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Go on.
But yeah, like you said, Hayden Christensen binged all of Clone Wars, didn't he?
Allegedly.
As his homework for becoming Darth Darth Vader again. Yeah. He binged all of Clone Wars, which is all of the backstory for Anakin that he wasn't there to play because another voice actor did it for him.
That being said, his voice did appear in Clone Wars.
Did it? Okay.
During the Execute Order 66 scene, when they go into Ahsoka's ship, just before the clone troopers do the 66 thing, you actually hear Hayden Christensen's line from Revenge of the Sith going, "What have I done?"
Oh, okay.
So it's a bit before, it's like literally minutes before Order 66, where he fucking chops off Windu's hand and kicks him out the window. Well, actually, it was Sidious doing the window bit, but you know.
Yeah, fair enough.
But yeah, I think Hayden deserves a nod, and Moses very close second. But yeah, what about you?
I'm going to give it to Ewan McGregor as my main one, because yeah, it was a series about Obi-Wan. You can't have Obi-Wan without the actor who plays him, and he did show a real good gamut of emotion from the broken man to the resolute paladin.
Yeah, I feel you, man. Like, I've got no issue with Ewan's performance. It's just I felt like the other two deserved a bit more of a nod.
Oh, totally. And since you gave a number 2, I'm also going to give a number 2.
More than fair.
I'm going to give my number 2 to John Williams, because he came back to give us the Obi-Wan theme, which apparently he'd never had one before.
Yeah, so, that's kind of believable, I guess.
Yeah. So, because before this, whenever you had Obi-Wan, it was just the theme of the Force. So what they've done is he took the theme of the Force and corrupted it a little bit and turned it into Obi-Wan's theme. Which, yeah, it took a couple of episodes to learn that was what the theme was, but once you did, you was like, oh, okay, this is now his theme.
You saying that, though, that's just what YouTube fucking music makers do nowadays.
Oh yeah, totally.
I've taken this piece of music and I've made it sound a bit more like Two Steps from Hell.
Yeah, let's have a metal version of a Final Fantasy theme. Let's go.
Oh, you mean Final Fantasy themes?
Oh, not all of them. Some of them are orchestral.
Yeah, but a lot of them are just metal themes, but with the wrong instruments.
Yeah. Yeah, fair enough. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it from us today.
Yeah.
If you liked the episode, if you're watching on YouTube, you've got the comment section down below. If you're listening via one of the many audio platforms, you have our email, which would be
nonsensereviewuk@gmail.com. Once again, that is nonsensereviewuk@gmail.com.
And yeah, I'm gonna have to ask you all to have a very good day and to keep yourselves safe and keep yourselves happy if I'm gonna take one from you. And yeah, goodbye from me.
Bye, guys.